Oprah is a slave trader.
And you know they give black creators like 75% less looks than they do us creators.
And he gonna say he ain't relevant because I'm talking about something that just relevantly happened.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbro Canes.
My pronouns are they, them, or at least that's what I share with people most often, but for this particular meeting, I will come out fully as saying that my pronouns are she, they, him.
Have you noticed your friends or family who are vaccinated actually have a whole different personality or are more angry, just overall different since getting the injections?
I'm heterosexual, I'm into woman, I'm not guy. Even if some people think or say that, period.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color.
She, they, him.
We're truly living in the age of the absurd.
Let's talk about labia puffing, because I think that's a topic that's really hot today.
Dogs and cats in the home, they carry parasites, so they should never be in the bedroom and they should never be in the kitchen or the area where you're eating food. That's one easy way for human beings to get parasites.
They go low, I go low.
Oprah is a slave trader. Let that sink in. It's 100% true.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbro Canes.
Mr. Mays, you are out of order, and I'm giving you your warning.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Disorderly.
I'm sorry.
I rule you out of order, and I ask that you would be dismissed from this meeting.
Nope.
I'm jumping on here now for the second time to tell you that these Labubu dolls are haunted. In a second video that's gone viral, there are claims that their Labubu doll is possessed. They were so freaked out by what the doll did that they went as far as to set it on fire.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbro Canes.
Councilman Mays, please refrain from your profanity.
Hell!
We are seeing now a third false narrative.
They have given $94 million to fight anti-Semitism.
What? Sanhedrin 59A, murdering Goyim is like killing a wild animal. Abodah Zarah 26b, even the best of the Gentiles should be killed.
3 days ago, 34 black girls disappeared, vanished, abducted overnight.
It's a meat market bill. It is a trafficking bill.
Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader. Why do you think she has that school in South Africa? Why does she hang out with who she hangs out with? Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader.
So you see my phone is actually on my lap, and you know, I know I've been teased about this, but I like these kinds of ear pods that have the thing, because I served on the Senate Intelligence Committee. I have been in classified briefings, and I'm telling you, like, don't be on the train using your ear pods and thinking somebody can't listen to your conversation. I'm just telling you, that's a little bit more secure.
Right to do something, I don't require permission. So if I have a right to keep and bear arms, then I don't require a concealed carry permit. They are contradictions in terms. Did George Washington and Thomas Jefferson have gun permits? No, it was ridiculous. I mean, you were required to have a gun, basically to defend the United States. So if they didn't have a gun permit, and we do now, where was the first gun permit? When did we write the first gun permit? Just after what we call the Civil War. It's actually a war between the states. If you have a right to do something, you don't have to ask for permission. White people had rights. Black people were slaves. They had no rights. Well, we passed the 13th Amendment, which says there's no more slavery. Well, gosh, if there's no more slavery, then blacks and whites are all the same, right? So you're going to give the black people guns? after you've just had them in chains? And I don't think so. They may be a little upset with us. Giving them a gun may not be a real good idea this week. And so what we did was we gave blacks privileges. Okay? Well, this guy's not going to be really angry with it. We'll let him do it, but not this guy over here, because I can still see in his eyes. He's angry. So blacks were given privileges with the 14th Amendment. How about a marriage license? Did Thomas Jefferson and George Washington have a marriage license? No. Today, just about everybody has one. Where was the first marriage license? Right after the Civil War. If two white people want to get married and have children, they have a right to do that. They can do anything they want with their property. Now, whites don't have to ask anybody for permission. Blacks but we really didn't care. Two black people wanted to get together. We basically considered that animal husbandry. But what if a black person and a white person want to get married? Oh gosh, we can't have that. We can't allow mixing of the races now, can we? The white person can do anything they want. The black person can't. The black person has to get permission. So the first marriage licenses were permission for interracial marriages. And I have a copy of Black's Law Dictionary. Now this is Black's Law 3rd edition. This is about 1870s, I think, somewhere in that time frame. And so it's an old book, and I've gotten a copy of it, and I've looked up marriage license. And it says, quote, a license or permission granted by public authority to persons who intend to intermarry. Right there in black and white. A marriage license is for mixed marriages. Well, eventually that was working so well that we just applied a marriage license to everybody. Why do you need permission?
I spent 10 years of my life studying religions to see which is better. All of them are against women. All of them follow racism. All of them class oppression. You have to read books, those holy books, in order to know that those books are political books. Religion is a political ideology. Religion is not a moral ideology. It's not about ethics. Is there ethics in religion? We have to ask ourselves. Is there ethics in politics? Because there is no real separation between religion and politics. Religion is a political ideology, and politics cannot exist. Governments cannot exist. Political parties, even the Marxists, cannot exist without religion. They need God all the time to justify injustices. When you use God to justify oppression of women, veiling of women, oppression of poor people, class oppression, race oppression, when you use God, then everybody is afraid to criticize. So why people are very afraid to criticize religion?
Sanhedrin 59a, a goy who pries into the law, which means the Talmud, is guilty of death. This is why you can't even trust a Jew when you're talking about the Talmud, because they're trained to lie about it in the first place. Or you look at Liber David 37. To communicate anything to a goy about our religious relations would be equal to the killing of all Jews. For if the goyim knew what we teach about them, they would kill us openly. Can you make this up? Yevamot 11b. Sexual intercourse with a little girl is permitted if she is 3 years of age. Hikkuth Akam X1. Do not save goyim in the danger of death. In the same excerpt, show no mercy to the goyim. Like, I can go on and on. I basically was prying into the Talmud, what was it, I think 8 months ago, and I just pulled out all these verses. Like, again, this is a salient theme. If it was something that showed up once in a while, I would be like, okay, this is weird. Let's talk about this. Why is this repetitively throughout the entire book? I can scroll forever on this. Like, what does that say about the faith, where a big part of their faith is, once again, the separation of the chosen and their cattle? That's why ultimately they're trained to not care about us.
They hung her by her feet from a tree. After beating her, they set her on fire. And she was pregnant, so they cut her stomach open. And when the baby fell, the unborn baby fell, they stomped on it. They stomped on it. Then they riddled her body with 60 bullets. After all that, they left her there to die. Her name is Mary Turner. She was a 21-year-old black woman, married to Hayes Turner. And the reason this happened to her is because a white plantation owner who was known for brutalizing his slaves. This is 1918, by the way. Slavery was supposed to be emancipated in 1865. But anyway, a white slave owner was killed by his enslaved African for being brutal. When word got out that he had died, a large mob of white men and women went around killing 13 black women and children and men all over Valdosta, Georgia. Hayes Turner, who was Mary's husband, had nothing to do with the killing of Mr. Smith, but the mob lynched him anyway. One of the 13 victims was riddled with 120 bullets while hanging from a tree. Now, like I said, Mary's husband, Hayes Turner, was lynched. Mary found out about this, and she knew the names of everyone that was involved, and she decided to expose it and tell the world, hey, my husband and these 13 victims need justice. The mob did not like that at all. And if you don't know, it's 1918. You know that the white community would have done tremendously worse for less. So imagine how they felt when they were exposed. That is when they dragged her to the middle of Valdosta, Georgia, to Little River, beat her, strung her up by her feet upside down, set her on fire, cut her stomach open, stomped on her baby, and shot her over 60 times. She was 21 years old.
Okay, maybe y'all didn't hear that. Maybe y'all still in shock. Maybe you need to stand up to sit down for this one. They just gave, Department of Homeland Security, just gave $94 million to Jewish organizations to fight anti-Semitism, fam.
Absolutely crazy. I've had 4 members of Congress say, I'll talk to my AIPAC person. And it's literally what we call them, my AIPAC guy.
The reason why I'm a little taken aback by hearing this news is that I'm old enough. I'm an old man. And I'm old enough. Back in the day, I very much remember how Republicans and the right and this administration targeted black women who had set up the same thing, a grant for black women to start up businesses. That's correct. Now, you know how much the right loves to say, lift yourself up by the bootstraps. That's literally what she was doing. She was paving the way for other black women to start businesses, okay, by giving them something that most black businesses failed to have at the jump, and that is capital. And they said, hey, that's discriminatory, that's racist, that's this and that, and they filed a false lawsuit against her. Okay, if you actually look into the details, I did a video on it, it was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. They wanted to say, oh, they didn't offer the scholarship or the grant to white women, but yet no white woman applied for the grant.
Come on now, dawg.
But they just implied that. They just insinuated that they wouldn't give it to them, even though they didn't apply for the grant, which then led to her having to shut down the grant.
Come on, man.
Just keep that in mind. That's what this lineage of evil did. Now, we are having the DHS give $94 million to Jewish organizations to fight anti-Semitism. Now, I'm like, okay, what are we talking about? What anti-Semitism? What rise to anti-Semitism? Where did this even come from? Okay, where did this come from? So I started asking questions. I get my answer. Do y'all want to know where this whole $94 million fight anti-Semitism even came from? It came from October 7th.
What? That the temple spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on security, and he's very concerned about the rise in anti-Semitism since October 7th.
Some people think it's controversial. I think it's incredible. It does some amazing things to help women who have deflated labia majoras, and that can happen from so many reasons, from childbirth, from losing a lot of weight, from just getting older, gravity.
First of all, no shade to anybody who gets this procedure done. If you want to undergo labia puffing, then by all means, do so. Nobody should judge you for it. But my concern as a physician and by a doctor advertising this as being incredible is, are we creating an insecurity in women that maybe never would have been there had we not advertised it all over the internet? Especially a male physician advertising this.
They were so freaked out by their Labubu doll and what it did that they set it on fire. As a matter of fact, check this video out.
What happened?
Check this out.
His eye just turned green. What do you mean they turned green? Oh, hell nah. Don't throw it to me. What happened?
Does that look like a happy child?
It just turned green and I was cleaning my room. What do you mean it turned green? It's his eye. His eye? Yeah.
That's the same doll. Remember, she said the eyes turned green. What color are those eyes?
Oh, wait, hell nah.
And if you recall from my other videos, The Simpsons' prediction was that that doll is evil. Here again is another reminder of what The Simpsons said about the Labubu dolls.
Video from rural India. A large bonfire lit for a traditional event. And then, a man who herds goats begins to walk his flock around the fire. Once, twice, thrice. And then, he steps away. But the goats keep going. Round and round they go. No leader, no destination. Just movement for the sake of movement. Blindly following the one ahead. And suddenly, it's not just a circle. It's a cycle. A vicious, self-perpetuating loop. It reminded me of what we often see around us. In religion, in politics, in society. So many follow without question, without clarity, without understanding the true intent of the one they're following. Not because they believe, but because they're conditioned. Because stepping out of the circle takes courage. The fire in the middle may be real or imagined, but the fear, the motion, the blind, it's all too real. Ask yourself, are you thinking or are you following?
The first false narrative was that the virus is unassailable, we have to stay in lockdown and be fearful. The second false narrative is take a vaccine, it's safe and effective. The third false narrative now is it's not the vaccine causing these problems, it's COVID. It's COVID that we saw back in 2020 causing all these problems in 2023.
Psychosis, 440 times more likely. Dementia, 140 times. Schizophrenia, 315 times. Suicidal thoughts, 150 times more likely. Homicidal ideation, 25 times more likely.
Una conexión con lo que hay aquí, con el instrumento, ¿verdad? Porque recordemos que la flauta es un instrumento ancestral. Yo con mi cita. Vamos a ver qué pasa.
Brain clots, 3,000 times more likely. Depression, 530 times. Violent behavior, 80 times. Cognitive decline, 115 times. Delusions, 50 times. Of course, they think that the psychiatric harm is caused by the accumulation of the toxic spike protein being accumulated. But of course, it's probably the mRNA, the lipid nanoparticle, and God knows whatever else.
Come on, girls. You know Mommy wants to make an angel food cake.
And first place for 2016 goes to 235.
Don't fall for the false narrative. The medical literature at this point in time is compelling. The Bradford-Hill criteria for causality have been fulfilled. The vaccines are causing this enormous wave of illness.
Here's something that people should know, is that aluminum provokes an allergic response, and that's why it's valuable. So if you put the aluminum in with the viral antigen, your body now mounts an allergic response to that viral antigen, whether it's polio or hepatitis B or the, HPV or whatever. So, but what we now know, the science suggests, is that the aluminum also creates allergic responses to anything that's in the ambient environment. So if you have a peanut oil excipient in that vaccine, and you put aluminum in it, now you could have a lifetime allergy to peanuts. If there's a Timothy weed outbreak, the week that you get that aluminum vaccine, you now may have a lifetime allergy to Timothy weed. And that's why probably, there's 2 studies by Mawson and Cowlings, which show that children who are vaccinated with aluminum vaccines have 30 times the rate of allergic rhinitis as kids who don't. And, all of these food allergy epidemics date to the time that we started giving these kids this aluminum.
And the media is not covering it. I've seen videos from distraught parents. I've seen videos from activists in the community. I've seen posters. Nobody's talking about this. I mean, there are people talking about it, but it's not getting out there. Somehow in one night, 34 black girls were abducted and are missing. And the media is not covering it at all. I searched the story, you know what it showed me? A whole bunch of little white girls missing. Like 1s and 2s and stuff. But 34 black girls disappeared overnight, and nobody knows why or where they are, and nobody's investigating. This is crazy. Get the word out, guys.
Somebody sent it to me. I would not advise you to have a look at it. She and her spokeswoman, they put a 5-year-old girl naked on a table, bind it, and then with a scalpel they start to remove the face.
Oh my God.
And you hear this child screaming, and they take off the face, and Hillary Clinton puts it on her face and goes to the child. And you see, the child is all flesh, and then the eyes, and this child sees her own face on the face of Clinton. I will never forget that image, and never the scream. That's how evil these people are.
Everyone has seen this painting. Okay, so this is a painting that was in Jeffrey Epstein's $70 million apartment. It's on sale right now for $70 million in Manhattan. Common misconception with this painting is that Bill Clinton is wearing Hillary Clinton's dress from some event. Not accurate.
Oh, it's
He's wearing
Lewinsky's dress.
Monica Lewinsky's dress that he jizzed on, and she kept the stain that was the comp. That's how he got caught, right? So this painting obviously is indicating that Jeffrey Epstein has compromising information on Bill Clinton. Yesterday, a picture of Bill Clinton getting a massage from one of the victims came out. That said, what I found out about today is that there was another painting in there. I cannot believe I never knew this, but it's this. George Bush with 2 knocked down Jenga buildings.
And 2 planes.
And 2 paper airplanes. How crazy is that, dude? And that was in Epstein's house.
Of using children as workers and even locking one in a cage.
The investigation in Columbia County started after a tip at a church led to 9 kids being rescued. A report says the children were not educated properly and didn't even know their full names or their birthdays. Action News Jack's Yona Gavino is live at the sheriff's office in Yona. There are lingering questions now for DCF.
They are, Tanika, and tonight investigators are still piecing together how this alleged abuse went on unnoticed for so long, and this all started with a tip from a church camp about a teenager carrying a taser, and that's when authorities say it blew open a much bigger story. Hidden deep in the woods, a makeshift clubhouse spells out the family name, Griffith. It is the same name now tied to child cruelty charges, including physical and sexual abuse. Deputies say 9 children ages 7 to 16 lived here in isolation. The arrest affidavit says some couldn't read, others didn't even know their birthdays. Jill and Brian Griffith, along with their adult children, Dallin and Liberty Ann, are all facing charges. Investigators say at least one of the younger children was sexually abused by the couple's 21-year-old biological son. Other children described being beaten with a cane and sprayed in the face with vinegar as punishment. But the most disturbing allegation involves a 14-year-old boy who deputies say was locked in a homemade cage, built under a bunk bed with plywood and 2x4s. When we visited the property, the only sign of life was a black cat. There's something unsettling about this place. It is eerily quiet, aside from the occasional sounds of insects and birds. And it is right in the middle of the woods. Although you can see there are signs that children live here, the court documents paint a very different picture of the reality they lived in. So I went to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Brantford to get answers. The court documents say a tip that a 16-year-old boy had a taser at church camp cracked open a bigger case. And a follow-up interview at the church was where a woman told authorities the couple primarily fostered and adopted African-American children who were not nurtured but were treated like workers. I spoke with a defense attorney who tells me this case is still in its early stages.
There are federal statutes that prohibit trafficking individuals between jurisdictions for purposes of either sexual behavior or other types of work-related behavior, indentured.
It is unbelievable. So much so, don't believe me. Go to realimpact.us. It allows an individual to obtain this new form that comes with the bill. They fill it out, and they can name a child. John goes to a school in California and says, I have this form, and I am asking for Susie Q to be received into my custody. I want to take her out of school. The bill does not require a background check for this man, requires no identification, no driver's license, no nothing. There's no requirement in the bill for the school to call you to ask you if it's okay if John takes your daughter out of school. If this bill passes, I am going to ask you to leave the state of California. You're going to need to pack up and you're going to have to get out. You got to get out. You got to run with your kids. You got to go.
My own neighborhood where I live at, working in my neighborhood by my house, and I have this man asking me, do I live here?
Yes.
And what's your name?
Dude.
I'm going to start a civil lawsuit right now. That's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. You got to do it, man. But I want
What's
to
your name, man? Because I'm walking the neighborhood where I live at, and I'm getting harassed.
No, wait. He's unnecessarily playing us.
But we took my car.
Yes. Bring my phone. I don't have my phone. Get my phone.
Come with me and get the
phone. I will. Get
Please.
my phone. Because this guy will escape otherwise. Get my phone. Get my phone.
Come with me.
Yes. Get my phone now. Please.
You see this man right here? I'm going to keep him a distance back. He's steady walking up on me like this. Y'all see this?
Yep. I know that this is not your house.
This not my house, but I live in this neighborhood. You don't got it. Listen,
You don't live in this neighborhood.
You don't know where I live at, sir. You can't not tell me where I live at, and I'm not going to pull out my ID and show you where I live at. I know you live right here, and I live in this neighborhood. You have a blessed day, sir.
No, you
have a blessed day, sir.
I'm calling the cops.
You have a blessed day, sir.
Wait here, boy.
You have a blessed day, sir.
You wait here.
You have a blessed day.
You wait here. I'm calling the cop. Wait here. If you live in this neighborhood, wait.
Yo.
If you live in this neighborhood, wait.
Don't touch. Yo, who the fuck is you talking to like that? Don't raise your voice at me like that, boy.
Wait here.
I'm a grown ass man. What is you doing?
This is a protected neighborhood, and you're not supposed to be in here.
Yo, what's your name, yo? He's steady walking up on me, yo.
Get my phone. I'm calling the cop.
Yeah, I'm calling the cops right now.
Please do. Now.
Don't walk up on me no more, bro.
Please do.
Yo. Don't walk up on me no more.
Yeah.
Your ass going to jail, boss.
Yeah. I want to see who goes to jail tonight.
Bro, don't keep...
How is she a slave trader? Does the name John of God ring a bell? There's a reason why Oprah is so powerful, and it's not pretty. What do we know about Hollywood? We know that you pretty much have to be compromised to be at a certain level in Hollywood. Who's at the top levels of Hollywood? This is not rocket science, guys. This is not rocket science.
And I told Ellen that I needed to have friends. She said she did not want to have a girlfriend that needed that. And that is the day I left. Why do you think she tried to put me in an institution, folks? I called my mother. Guess what? 2 people who wanted more than anything to have my truth buried. It was not my time.
Connie Heche was just starting to expose her ex-girlfriend Ellen DeGeneres when she died in a bizarre car crash. The toxicology report showed she was sober, and when they pulled her from the wreckage, she wasn't dead. She was trying to get off the stretcher.
Anne Heche has died. Her vehicle ran off the road at a high rate of speed and collided into a house in LA last Friday.
But what's even scarier than this video of Anne struggling to get away is what happened just weeks before she died. Anne was talking to Ellen's DJ Twitch, and she warned him to watch his back. But next thing you know, just 4 months after Anne's fatal car crash, Twitch dies too. He supposedly took his own life just days before Christmas. No warning, no note, just walked from his home one morning and was found dead hours later in a nearby motel.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
There are 2 herbs that are very effective at killing off parasites. One is wormwood and the other one is black walnut. And you can buy, I know in Australia, in health food shops, you can buy these herbs in capsule or a tablet form, but also know that starting every meal with pumpkin seeds. Have a 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds as the first thing you eat every meal. All worms hate it. And also raw garlic is another deterrent.